webinar. This is Rachel Factor again from ECDC, Resettlement and Placement Program Officer. And today I'm really happy to have the participation of two of our representatives from affiliate offices. We have Lola Olofensui from the North Carolina African Services Coalition in Greensboro, and Lola is a case management coordinator. We also have with us Safa Al-Sharbati from the Arizona Immigrant and Refugee Services in Phoenix, Arizona, and Safa is a program manager. So what we're going to talk about today is community partnerships, how to do them, why we're going to do them, and we're going to hear first from Greensboro, then from Phoenix, so you can get the affiliate point of view, what actually happened on the ground, and the successes that they've had and the challenges that they've had as well. We're going to let both of our affiliates present, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So if you have questions specifically for Lola at Greensboro or Safa at Phoenix, please keep them for the end, or you can feel free to just type them in and I will save them and address them at the end of the presentation. So again, if you do have questions, whether if you can't hear us, if you're having audio or visual problems, you can feel free to type us a message into the chat boxes and we will try to help you out. So I am going to talk really quickly because I'm sure that you would rather hear from our affiliates, as would I. So first of all, we're talking about cultural orientation and community partnerships. So why should you create community partnerships? What is that going to accomplish? Who should you be talking to? Who can you go to for this kind of participation? And how exactly can you do that? So we're going to hear from the affiliates in more specific ways. But some things that I wanted to mention were the why of community partnerships and cultural orientation. So having community partnerships is going to allow for an exchange of knowledge and exchange of ideas between the community and the refugee clients that we serve. And it will help the clients to get a better idea of the topics that you're actually talking about in cultural orientation. So typically, it's easier for someone to remember something if they're presented with a real-life situation or if they actually do something as they are supposed to, such as riding the bus, for example. So the question of who can you contact for this community partnership, something that I would say would be a great practice is to reach out to people who are already in contact with you, who are already helping refugees. So for example, if you are working with an employer who has hired a lot of refugees and is very interested in the work that you're doing, that could be a great contact for either a field trip or maybe they could come in and present about how to go through an interview, for example. You can also reach out to other organizations, to other folks in the community. So some of these might be police officers, bus drivers, bankers, librarians, attorneys even. So there's a lot of options. There's so much that you have to cover in cultural orientation. So it might be easier to have an expert on this subject talk to the clients on your behalf. So then we're going to also address the how of how to create these partnerships. Like I said, it might be easier to reach out to people who are already involved, but you might want to think about reaching out to others who are not and how you might approach them, what kind of strategies you would use to get them involved. When you connect with these community partners, you want to make sure that you're also training them properly. So some things that they might need to know about is, what is cultural orientation? What's the point of this? Who are refugees? How is cultural orientation typically being delivered? What does your agency do? What other services do you provide? You might also want to talk to them about working with limited English speakers. So working with interpreters as well is definitely a skill that they should be taught. So again, why partner with people? You can enhance your client understanding, build bridges between host communities and the refugees, and benefit from expertise outside of the office. So I'm going to turn it now to Lola at ASC Greensboro, and she's going to tell us about her experience with community partnerships and cultural orientation.
Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Lola Olafintui. I'm the case management coordinator here at African Services Coalition in North Carolina. I'm not gonna take too much of your time, but I do want to just go into a bit why we chose to start including our community partners and then how we went about it. So the first slide here, we have the first incentive that we had to, or the first issue we observed that made us decide to include our community partners was we observed that there was an increase in a lack of trust between our clients and, we the case managers. We were becoming very frustrated because we kept hearing things like, oh, that's not what my friend told me, that's not what I heard in orientation before I came here, or no, my friend that's in Texas said A, B, or C. So we kept getting that, and it was becoming frustrating both for them and for us. On the other side, we also saw that our clients were coming with a lot of misconceptions about what to expect here in the United States. The big ones I have listed here are, they had a belief that there were, because they came in as refugees, they were eligible for benefits forever. Also the benefit amounts. That confusion was coming from, maybe the friends or family that they had that were residing in other states, in regards to work first TANF or refugee cash assistance and all those sorts. There was also an increase in clients just randomly showing up at DSS. They don't know who to talk to or who to or what to say, but they were just showing up. And at times all they would do was just show the business card from one of our case managers. So then we were getting a lot of calls from DSS saying that, hey, we have one of your clients here. We don't know what he or she wants, but they're here. We were also getting reports from about domestic violence and child abuse, or what was being classified as domestic violence and child abuse. So we knew that there was a need to educate clients even more. And also we were getting a lot of calls from our property managers, the apartment complexes that we work with, where clients were doing things that are, that are seemingly normal to them, but just weren't acceptable here. So we knew that we had to do something about it to make sure that they were getting the right information. Even though we were giving it to them, we were seeing that it wasn't working in the manner we were going about it. So the next slide here we have is how we identified which community partners would be beneficial to us in meeting our goals. So we broke it down by figuring out who dealt with these clients on these common issues that we were seeing. So whether it was DSS or it was the property managers, or it was, workers at the health department, or, whatever the case may have been, we had to identify them. Also, who was making the complaints. Once again, we identified which community partners are making the complaints, and also we try to figure out who in the community would help us alleviate some of these issues. And then finally, we definitely pinpointed the areas of confusion for the majority of the clients. What were the things that they just were having difficulty understanding or, adjusting to? So those were the criteria we used to identify which community partners we would invite to our cultural orientation. So the next slide we have here is how we approach them. We approach them on the basis of mutual benefit. We knew what the benefit would be to us as the organization, as the case managers, but we also have to present to them how it would benefit them. And we gave it to them basically saying they would be able to give clients the information, the correct information themselves from the beginning. Clients would also be able to ask them the questions directly. So it wouldn't be coming secondhand from a case manager who they may not necessarily trust, but they would be hearing it directly from the person who would work on their case. It would make both of our jobs easier in the long run because clients would know that it's not a case manager just telling them a story, or that, you know, we're taking their money or whatever the statements they would make to us. But they would be able to understand. It would make our jobs easier, and then the community partners would have an easier time working with our clients. We also explained to them that there would be an increase in client understanding and retention. A lot of times we observe that sometimes clients, when they feel that they aren't being understood or that we're not giving them the information they necessarily would like to hear, sometimes they'll say, oh, we want to go to another organization. And, you know, unfortunately, we don't stop them, but we try as much, you know, as possible to get them to understand that it's not us, that they need to understand that this is how things are here in North Carolina. It may not be the same with your uncle in New York or your aunt that's in Minnesota. And then also finally, we told them that it was a way to build for community development. So everyone would know what was going on with everyone. The community partners would know exactly who the refugee community was in our area. The clients were also able to know who these people are. They were able to put a face to these so-called offices, the police department, the DSS, the health department, you know, all of these places. So that is how we approach them, and we're happy to say that, you know, it was to our benefit. Moving along. So the community partners that we decided on, and we have since actually even added more, we have what we call here in North Carolina the Congregational Nurse Program. Now, these nurses are nurses that work through one of the major hospital systems here in Greensboro, and it's nurses who are pretty much assigned to churches and different religious organizations in the area. And the purpose they serve is to educate clients as to the differences between, you know, hospitals, urgent care, clinics, you know, what is a PCP, you know, a family doctor, what is a specialist, what is the health department, what service, and the services that you can get at these various places. They also help us to educate clients about screenings and immunizations. And they also help us talk to clients about personal hygiene. And the reason we made a big emphasis on personal hygiene was we have clients who, you know, unfortunately were losing jobs due to issues with personal hygiene, or we were getting complaints from schools and different places. So we definitely put a heavy emphasis on personal hygiene. Now I'm going to backtrack a bit. Before the community partners actually started coming, we sat down with them. We were able to discuss with them what topics we would like for them to cover. They were able to tell us what they would like to cover, and then we in turn were able to tell them what we wanted them to cover to make sure that all bases were covered, pretty much. So I'm going to go back to our community partners here. Department of Social Services. Because of our current relationship with Department of Services, we are fortunate to be able to complete our food stamps, Medicaid, and refugee cash assistance applications in-house. We have all the forms. We complete them, scan it in, send it over to them. They process it, and we get the food stamp cards and Medicaid cards and all of that. So, but because we have already a standing relationship with them, it was very easy to call our contact and explain to her what we needed, and she was able to pinpoint, you know, a person who would be able to cover all these bases, from eligibility and guidelines for public assistance, food stamps, Medicaid, refugee cash assistance, as well as TANF. So with that, we're able to cover all of our bases, and this is with the Department of Social Services and Public Assistance. This is where a lot of our client confusion comes in. They don't understand, why is it only 8 months? Why do I have to recertify in 6 months? Why do I have to put in my income after I have a job? So this is where we were able to alleviate a lot of the questions and frustration we had with clients. Another community partner that we introduced to our cultural orientation is a nutritionist. She works at one of the local universities here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and she approached us about how would she be able to help us. And she came at an almost perfect time because we were having trouble educating clients about how their diets affected whatever ailments, or diseases they may have been dealing with. We had already observed and pinpointed certain communities that had issues with diabetes and high blood pressure, and there was trouble getting them to see that what you eat, will affect your sugar levels. So, and what you eat would affect your blood pressure. So she came right on time, and she was able to help us educate our clients, and she is helping us educate our clients on how to make more better choices in the grocery store. And she went as far as to also show them alternatives for native foods that they might not have here, but they may have had back home in their home countries. So she has been a great help, and also getting them to understand that food works along with the food, what you eat works along with the medication that you're using to keep, these diseases or ailments under control. She's also been a great help in helping us develop resources regarding budgeting and navigating the grocery stores, how to read labels. She has been an exceptional help in that regard. We also invited the police department. In Greensboro, with the Greensboro Police Department, I'm so happy that we have what they call community resource officers. These are officers that go out into the community to educate in different capacities, be it domestic violence, child abuse, vehicle safety. So it was very easy for us to get in touch with them, and they gave us a CRO, as they're called, to come to our orientations monthly and educate the clients. Once again, we pinpointed the key areas that we were seeing clients were having trouble, especially with vehicle safety, having car insurance, getting clients to understand that you cannot just buy a car and jump in it without having car insurance. Also, the differences between a driver's license and a learner's permit. We were having clients who would get a learner's permit and think it was okay for them to drive. So, that was a big deal. Also, car seats. We're fortunate to have a program here where our clients are able to get free car seats through the police department. But, sometimes they weren't understanding that every single time you get in that car with your child, they need to be strapped in and strapped in properly. Also, we go into personal and public safety, getting them to understand, you have to lock your door when you leave the house, even if you're going next door to your neighbor. And then the general U.S. laws and policies, what their responsibilities as parents, getting them to understand you cannot send your kids outside to play and you are inside the house. You need to be outside watching them. Also getting our clients to understand, what is classified as child abuse here, what is classified as domestic violence, sexual harassment, marriage, divorce. These are the things that we made sure they cover. And the police department has been very vital in getting this message across to our clients. Next, we have the American Red Cross. With a lot of our clients, as they come in, once they're here about sometimes even less than a week, the first thing they say is that, oh, I want to bring my wife, or I want to bring my children, my mom, whatever the case may be. So we were able to invite the local American Red Cross that we have here in Greensboro to start presenting, and they talk about, one, disaster preparedness, making sure our clients understand what they need to do in case of a disaster, how to prepare, what to get, what not to get, what's important and what's not important. And then also explaining to them the international family tracing services. A lot of clients, as we all know, they, because of whatever war may have broke out in their local villages, family goes, everybody scatters. So, they're very excited when the American Red Cross presents, because immediately they start saying, oh, the last time I heard, my husband was here or my wife was there. So, and it's been very beneficial to helping us get clients along on the path for family reunification quickly. We also invited one of our local banks here, and we found it was very important because a lot of our clients were having difficulty understanding how the banking system works. Why they should keep their money in the bank, how to use the ATM, making deposits and withdrawals. With the ATM, we had a case where a client opened the bank account, deposited money in the bank account, and then got his ATM card and was using his ATM card, and he did not understand that you're taking the money out of the ATM. That means your balance is reducing. So all of a sudden he got hit with his account was in the red, and he didn't understand why. He kept insisting that, no, I have money, I have money. And when we pulled out his banking record, we explained to him that, no, you were going to the ATM, so, and you withdrew about $300, so that drastically reduced your balance. So it was we knew it was very necessary for our clients to get have a financial institution explain to them how banks work, how ATMs work, the different types of accounts, what is interest, budgeting and saving. And also we went as far as to ask them to discuss credit and borrowing, because we have a lot of clients who came in with credit card advertisements and that they get in the mail randomly, and some were signing up and not knowing what they were signing up for. So we believed it was very important for them to be educated in that regard. Next, we have our successes. Our major successes, we've been able to measure how our clients have been doing. One, decrease in client confusion. We have been able to measure a drastic decrease in client confusion. Granted, there are clients who just refuse to accept the information and accept the reality of what it is, because they just insist that, no, somebody told me differently. But outside of that, we have been able to measure a decrease in client confusion. We also see that our community partners are far more aware of the community, of the refugee community and their needs, which was a very big deal for us, because sometimes, community partners, they just don't know. All they see is a name on a piece of paper. But in their coming to our cultural orientations, there has been an increase in their awareness. They see the needs, and they're willing to meet them, find middle ground, both for them and for us. And then obviously there was a huge decrease in client case manager contention. So clients weren't no longer accusing case managers of giving them wrong information, or of discriminating against them, or giving them wrong, or just telling them what they wanted to tell them for the sake of telling them. So clients were now able to see that the case managers were only doing their jobs and giving them the information that they need to give them. So we were very happy to see that. Finally, with our challenges, we're able, time management. A lot of times, partners may not come on time. Normally in our preparation for our cultural orientation, we have time slots, and the partners will tell us ahead of time what time slot they can do for that month. But at times, they may show up late, and it throws the schedule off. It's already, these days are already long. They go 2-3 days long. So, if one community partner comes late, we have to scramble to see, okay, who can go next. So, that's the issue. As well with the client. Sometimes clients, they show up late, so it's difficult for us to make up that information for them. We need to schedule a one-on-one to make sure that they still receive that information. Community partner schedules have also been an issue. Sometimes, for whatever reason, they may be available this month, they may not be available next month. So we always have to scramble to make sure that if they notify us in due time that they are not able to come, we ask them if they could send us a replacement. And there have been times where they didn't give us enough notice, they weren't unable to send a replacement. So the case managers normally have to step in to make sure that the clients still get that information. And finally, one major challenge we have is with interpretation. Finding interpreters who are available for the length of time that we need them to be available on those cultural orientation days. And we have some clients with languages that there aren't many interpreters available to us. So once that happens, the pool immediately decreases to almost no one. And then also using many languages at once. We use a very big room, so we try to space out the clients as much as possible so there's not too much interference between one language and the next. But as you all know, it can be difficult interpreting for maybe 3-4 languages at the same time. Not only for the clients because they're trying to listen to the interpreter, but also for the community partners, and just being patient to give the information slowly so that everyone can understand and digest it. So that's pretty much it for what we have here at African Services Coalition. And I'm going to hand it over to Safa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lola. You can feel free to change over to Safa, and we can hear from the Arizona Immigrant and Refugee Services. So thank you so much again, and here we have our presentation from Arizona.
Hi everyone, this is Safa from Arizona Immigrant and Refugee Services, Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to talk today about how to use the community partnership in your cultural orientation program. Let me on the slide, okay. So, one of the most important tools any organization can utilize is collaboration and cooperation to connect the local refugees community with their mainstream services and existing health, social, and community programs. We do work to improve the lives of the refugees community in Phoenix. We aim to empower the local refugee communities by providing free resources and tools and services to promote self-sufficiency and community-based development. As you all know, the main topics that cultural orientation include is all of the local resettlement agency, community services, and public assistance, housing, transportation, employment, ELT or learning English, education, health and hygiene, personal finance, budgeting, and U.S. law and refugee status, and cultural adjustment. And we do cover, like we do use the community partnership on some of the topics. Actually, we have like 4 or 5 topics that we use the community, but like some of them, they are not in the office. Like we have some health, like one of the clinics, they do provide some part of the health information during their the first visit for the client or the patient at the clinic, and they do provide free transportation, interpretation, but we're going to talk today about the ones that we have in our office. And actually we started this partnership with through our ethnic community self-health program. Our program coordinator, John Lindeman, he's not working with us anymore, but he's the one who started this relationship. And we chose for transportation, it was the Valley Metro Company, which is the company who provides the public transportation in Phoenix, Arizona. And we partnered with Phoenix Police Department and Wells Fargo Bank as well. So for transportation, the Valley Metro Company, we have a wonderful lady who comes once a month. Her name is Dolores Nolan. And from Wells Fargo, we have Joshua Nelson. And from the Phoenix Police Department, we have Luis Samaria. And so for public transportation, Actually, I'm going to go through one by one. Transportation. So they come here every month. They have this wonderful book to teach their clients how to ride the bus, stop sign, um, um, and then they show them the ATM, how to, sorry, the machine, the bus pass machine, how to buy the ticket and where to buy it. Actually, you can buy it at the bus station, or you can go to those places like Kmart, Fry's, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, Safeway, and um, and then they show them the kind of bus passes, like we have a one-day bus pass, we have weekly bus passes, we have monthly bus passes, and then they show them and then we go out for a ride, actually, a live ride. There is a bus is waiting outside. So we take the clients and start from the bus station near our office. We ride in the bus. They teach them how to go to the bus and what's the sign here says, like the road, what's the name of the road, or the number of the bus station, or actually the road that you're going to use. And then we go inside the bus and they tell them what you're allowed to bring inside the bus, and how you know that the bus is going to stop, or what is your next destination, which is on the screen here. And they explain all the signs on the bus, and so they can understand that. And then they talk about the metro as well, and how you're gonna request to stop at the next bus station. So it's either to press the stop button or pull the up here on the by the window. And then actually one of the clients, we will have a bicycle, and they teach them how, if you have a bicycle, how to where to put the bicycle and what to do. So, and then they explain, actually they ask each client about his address, where does he live, and then try to, after they explain the whole map and the whole thing, they're gonna ask the client to show the trainer how to go from his home to the office, how to ride the bus. And actually I found that most of them they really learned that, you know, how to ride the bus. And then we have the banking, and we teach the refugees how to use the ATM, how to open a bank account, the checking account, saving account, how to get the debit, what's the debit card, what's the credit card, how to avoid scams and fraud. Because actually one of the things that we learned here, that most of the refugees, they get scammed by some people by the phone. And every time this happens, of course, the state's going to share this information with the resettlement agencies, and so we can avoid this happening. And actually, we found that most of, like, this class is really important, because if they wouldn't know about it, they might be scammed by somebody. And so we have Joshua comes once a month, and they bring some gifts, materials from Wells Fargo Bank, and then there is like 2 minutes from our office, walking distance, there is a Wells Fargo branch. So sometimes we take the clients over there. We teach them how to use the ATM machine, to use the debit card, how to withdraw money, how to deposit, and they explain to them what's the advantage of making a direct deposit. If the client start a job, it's better to do a direct deposit so they can waive the fees, the monthly fees, the banking fees. And then they teach them how to write a check so they can start sending the IOM loan money by checks, which is really important. And we found that it's even better than using a money order, because we experienced that sometimes the money orders got lost and there is no proof. The IOM loan collection office in California, when we call them, they didn't receive it, but but when you have a check from your bank account, there is no way that they can say no, or they won't receive it. Next is the police, the Phoenix Police Department, and actually this is one of the important topics that we really found that we need to partner with Phoenix Police Department, and not because of the client only, and because of the police themselves, because most of the police officers in a lot of cities, they don't know who are the refugees, where do they come from. They think that everybody knows the rules here in the United States, and this is not the fact. So by teaching them who are the refugees, and so we finally agreed that they came out with this brochure, and it's actually in 6 languages. I have the English version and the Arabic one, but we do have it in different languages. So it's when stopped by police, remember to do that. Why do police stop people? What to do when stopped by police? A contact of some police stations and phone numbers, and all those places they know about the partnership with the resettlement agencies. And we've been to meetings with them, and it's really helpful. We found that the police officers, who learned from that, and they had experience stop somebody, a refugee, they treat them differently than regular Americans or people. This is the Arabic version, and we do have the other ones as well. This was one of the meeting with the police, and this is Tom, our operation manager, and I have a short video that's going to talk about the partnership with the police department. I hope that you guys
every year, 2,500 new political refugees from different countries move to the valley.
Yeah, the culture shock alone can make day-to-day living difficult, and it can also leave them as open targets for criminals because they're too scared of talking to police.
ABC 13's Christina Estes was there as officers in Phoenix took action to help fix the problem.
It was the middle of summer when William Ray Toyfield landed at Sky Harbor.
I arrived at 11 p.m. and it was still hot.
He'd never heard of Phoenix or Arizona.
And looking back, it just feels scary.
As a boy, William fled civil war in Sudan. The U.S. government eventually invited him to start a new life here.
Little did I know the persecution of it, the injustices that we have suffered.
Detective Luis Zamudio organized this gathering. As a representative for the Hispanic community, he understands the importance of reaching out to different groups.
They feel a little more at ease, more comfortable, and they're willing to open up and provide maybe things that we need to succeed in an investigation.
Zamudio wants to make sure key officers in each precinct understand the Valley has refugees from more than 50 countries. Many places where police are viewed as the bad guys, the ones that hurt rather than help. help.
My name is Peter Craig.
Introductions follow the crash course with time for one-on-ones.
You can just sit there with you and listen to what you have to say.
So we see them regularly on normal events, not just when there's a crisis. Really, that builds trust.
William will do his part by inviting officers to community events. Taking action in Phoenix, Christine Estes, ABC News.
Okay, so that was just a short video talking about the partnership with the Phoenix Police Department. And if you have any questions, I'm going to turn it to Rachel. 1 second.
Great, thank you so much, Sasha. And thanks again to Lola as well. So we have a good amount of time for some questions. I don't think I have any yet, so please feel free to type those in. Safa, I actually had a question for you. So Lola mentioned having some challenges with interpreters. Can you tell me about how you use interpreters with all of your different community partners?
Yes, actually, we do have, we cover most of the languages by our caseworkers, but we do have the IRC interpretation program that can provide interpreters anytime. So we use them regularly, so we don't have a problem with that, really.
Okay, we had a question from someone who I believe they're talking about banking. So they said when you are helping the clients open an account, what do you do with the referral bonus? So I guess he's referring to some banks might offer a bonus to people who refer friends. So is that something that either of you has experienced? And if so, what do you do with the referral bonuses?
This is Lola answering. We haven't had any bonuses offered to us. I don't know if they don't offer it to us because they know we're an organization and it would be difficult, to figure that out. So we haven't had any, any issues with that.
Yeah, actually, this is Safa, and we never offered. Had an offer from any bank, actually, because we do work with other banks as well, like Chase, because we do have our bank account with Chase. So most of the time, if the client have a problem cashing the checks, the pocket money checks, we do take them to Chase Bank immediately before even waiting for the class from Wells Fargo. But we never had this situation.
All right. Another question that I have for you is, are there any community partners or topics that you are hoping to find a community partner, but you haven't been able to either get through to them, or you're not sure how you're going to work it in?
This is Lola. No, we really haven't. There really isn't a community partner that we are lacking at this time. We have considered possibly inviting one of the property managers that we, place our clients in their property to come, but of recent we really haven't felt the need to do so as of yet, because we've been able to immediately get clients adjusted by educating them on what how to live in an apartment and what is expected of them and what they should expect of the property management. So we're we still haven't decided whether we're going to go forward with that, but there are no other community partners that we see the need for right now.
Great. And Safa, what about you? Are there any community partners that you haven't yet reached out to, that you're intending to reach out to?
Yeah, actually, our community partners here, they are really wonderful, and we have a big community. We have 4 resettlement agencies here in Phoenix, IRC, Catholic Charity, and Lutheran Social Services, and us. And the state, actually, they are involved, and we never had a problem finding like a partner that we really need. We partner with apartment complexes. We have one of the ladies, actually, one of the managers who manage one of the biggest apartment complexes that place Nepalis and Burmese. She have a big room. She do classes, ESA classes, employment classes, and most of the partners, they really work hard to help us to help the refugees. And honestly, we found that partnering with the community is really, really important. I didn't know that. First, you think about it like it's, we're helping the refugees, and that's the only part. It's not. And we were monitored by PRM last year, actually this year, sorry, in March, and we found that one of the things that they were like amazed by is our partnership with the community and how we are using this partnership to improve our cultural orientation. And they were like, this is what we want. And maybe that was one of the reasons that we got the highest rate of compliance. We got the monthly compliance, and we found that they were like pushing us to do more partnership with for the other topics as well.
Great. Yeah, that sounds like you have both said. Creating partnerships is so important, not just for the refugees, but for the community itself as well. So it's really a mutual benefit to everybody involved. So I hope that those of you listening have taken away some really great ideas, and those of you watching this recording as well. So I hope that you will feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or comments. Safa and Lola are great resources on this. They have some really excellent programs going on right now. So I hope you will take advantage of their expertise. So I just want to thank Lola and Safa again, and thank you to everyone listening in. And we will end it there, and hope you all have a great day. Thanks so much, everyone.
You too, thank you.